this licensee, I mean, especially with this last letter, is just, demonstrating her history with and attention to like risk evaluation and transfer of care. She's talking about a couple other courses. She's talked to Jessica Dolan from Hive about, she says the lack of a course that focuses on risk factors. They're in the early stages of creating one. She states that she's willing to take any class that we recommend. I think we've talked about that in the past too, about maybe we want to guide people a little bit more in what exactly that we that we want from them. And I just feel like I'm ready to be satisfied with what's been presented.
So this is Lynette, and I do still have some concerns. I don't know that they're worth delaying the process anymore, but I think that the point we were trying to get at in prescribing a particular class in risk assessment was to have the respondent review when it's necessary to transfer, because reviewing this case, the EMS wasn't called for 15 minutes after the baby was born, and there was indication for transfer from about 2 minutes after the head was born, and 3 minutes before the body was born to transfer, or to call at least EMS, and that there was a very long delay in calling. And so this course does not address that. It sounds like a great course. It has lots of things it does address, but it doesn't specifically address identifying when it's time to call. And I know there were some other courses that she took that perhaps helped her comfort level with calling. The Hive course that regarding transport and working together with EMS during that process could definitely have improved comfort levels in working with EMS, which would hopefully help prevent an issue in the future. But I just, again, I'm not sure this course does meet the intent, but I am understanding Meredith's position that it might be close enough, especially when combined with some of the other courses she's taken. I don't have as much appreciation for her email statement about how much time she's spent working on this and how long her career history is, just because despite all of that, this situation still occurred. It occurred, not terribly long ago in the scope of her professional career, which is disconcerting to me. But that's my feedback, and I'm just curious to hear what other people's thoughts are.
This is Wendy. I support 100% everything you say. I'll add on to that just the concern about the timing. It just makes me, this whole bring it to the very end and, is just so kind of disrespectful of the process, that it just is frustrating. And I also agree that, and I keep saying the word intent. I mean, everybody knows our intent, and this is stretching our intent to like the nth degree and kind of trying to squeeze in something when it's really clear what our intent is. And that frustrates me. Probably not enough to discount it, but frustrates me, a lot. And if this were a much newer, I'm going to say this, and if this were a much newer, fresher, inexperienced provider, I might say something a little different. And then the final thing I'm going to say, and you can apply it however you want, is, you can't regulate common sense, right? there is no course that teaches you common sense. And this has a piece of that. So that I'm done.
Yeah, this is Meredith.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say one thing quickly. Again, this is Meredith Klein. I don't disagree with that about this case that we're looking at as far as waiting too long and all of that. I mean, of course, we've agreed on that. She's also included her other statistics over time, so as far as seeing that, like, that kind of care isn't common.
I mean, in a way, for me, that almost makes it worse, because it sort of, it gives into that, it's probably going to be okay, because it's always been okay, right? And that's when you're bitten. And I personally have seen that so many times that it's hard for me to kind of give into that.
Yeah, this is Kelsey, and I think I said the same thing about the statistics previously, is that's great that they're having great outcomes, and those numbers are not high enough. Like the N is small enough that, like, that can be an anomaly, not necessarily related to the care provided. And I do think that, like, reading more about this course, I think I have more concerns about it instead of less, because it does seem to focus on, like, really broad, like, global practices, which is a little bit the opposite of what we wanted to see in this, like, higher resource setting where access to higher level care is so readily available. It sounded like Christine had something to say a bit ago.
I was just gonna echo kind of Wendy's frustration too with, like, how long this took, because I think the order was signed in 2021 and this course was taken in 2014. So, like, the course could have been submitted, like, super, like, right that day, and we could have reviewed it and gone over and said, like, no, this doesn't quite meet that the intent of what we're asking for, and figured it out a long time ago. And so I think that's a frustration for sure, because I agree. I don't think that this meets the intent. If we read kind of what the order that was signed says, it doesn't really meet that intent in my mind.
So this is Wendy. I mean, I what I'm hearing is a lot of that. I mean, we can say no. We can say, here's the course we need you to take. I mean, I don't know what's out there. I know you've all said it's hard, and but we can say no if we feel, enough of us feel that this is just taken it a little too far. I mean, I agree I agree with everything Christine just said, even though she agreed with what I said.
I think there was a course brought up last time we were talking about this that seemed like it was a good match. Perhaps we suggest that. I can't remember what it was, but I feel like it was with Hive.
And OMC has offered courses in risk assessment in the past, and my understanding is that they'll offer them again on request. But I think we probably need to focus on, does this class meet the requirement? And it sounds like we're kind of mixed minds. I'm happy to hear any more, any other board members' thoughts or opinions, or if we want to have more debate or discussion. But I think Wendy is right that we can just decide, and we could just vote on it and see if the majority is yes or no. But I do want to make sure there's space for anyone to comment their thoughts on this course before we do that.
I mean, it would matter to me if we have another course to offer, whether or not.
I mean, I think that is important, but was not our responsibility to find the class. And like, regardless, we're outside the time frame where we requested this to happen on, as other people have mentioned. And I think it's important that if we have an intent with asking for something, that, like, I don't want to be wishy-washy about, well, this class is close enough. Like, I think if we make requests and disciplinary actions, I want to say yes or no, this met the requirement or not.
So do we just need to vote then now on it, or?
We can, if someone wants to make a motion and then someone seconds it, we can just vote. You don't have to make a motion that you approve it either.
This
The
is,
motion.
okay, this is Wendy, and I make a motion that we go ahead and take a vote.
Well, make a motion about whether we're approving it or not so that we know which way to vote.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. This is Wendy, and I make a motion that we don't approve and submit a request for a different risk assessment course.
I think that we should probably, it's like maybe just be one part. Just, do we approve this class? Or
Thank you.
disapprove?
This is.
Try again.
I make a motion that we do not approve this class.
Motion has been made.
This is Christine, I second.
Motion has been made and seconded, so I'm gonna call names, and if you vote yes, that means you agree with Wendy and do not approve this class. And if you want to, if you approve of this class, vote no. We got it? Okay. Kelsey Fisher, yes. Meredith Klein.
No.
Beth Iva.
No.
Wendy Smith.
Yes.
Christine Morales.
Yes.
Lynette Pettibone.
Aye, yes.
Meredith Mance.
Yes.
All right, the yeses have it. The course is not approved of meeting the requirements. I think that was the decision that we needed to make. And it's time to go back into executive session. Let me,
Yes.
I'm just looking for the next script. Okay. The Board of Direct Entry Midwifery will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602F and ORS 676.595 for the purpose of considering information exempt from public disclosure at 9:35 a.m. on November 17th, 2022. Representatives of the news media shall be allowed to attend the executive session by conference call and will be provided further call-in instructions shortly. The public phone line will be muted for the duration of executive session. Are there any representatives of the news media on the public phone line? No. Recognizing there's no news media in attendance, the public phone line will be muted for the duration of executive session. We will return to open session before taking any final action or making any final decisions. It's estimated that the board will return to public session at, sorry, what's our estimate? I don't have that.
Okay.
10:30? Does that seem too long?
That sounds good, I think.
Okay. 10:30 a.m. Please be aware that it is possible that the board's executive session will last longer than 10:30 a.m. If the public has any questions about whether the board is still in executive session, then the public can contact April Fleming at april.fleming@dhsoha.state.or.us. We are now in executive session.